And we're back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Zielonka, where hopefully, knock on wood, everything is running as it's supposed to. Looks like it is, so if it's not, I'm going to have serious talks with my recording software. Anyway, I feel like today is the real opening episode for this series. So far everything's just been testing to make sure that we get levels right, make sure the audio's working. Should have been the last episode, but obviously I think what happened is I updated OBS, which is what I use to record, and it reset some of the settings so that it wasn't picking up the correct output for the audio, for the game audio. But I've fixed it, changed it over, and it says at the moment that we have audio. So I won't know until I edit it, but for the moment I'm just going to assume that we're all good. Cool. My goal for today, we're picking up right where we left off. We're still in the same day. It's only nearly 1:30, so we just had lunch. I don't know if I'm on the right side of the road. I think I am. I don't remember. Goal for today, first we need to roll the field. Which, you know, we've got this, I bought this little roller, but I think I'm going to have a look and see what else. I've added some more mods so that we've got better things in sales. Or not better things, we've got more options in the sales. And I think there were more. It was sales plus. Or, yeah, sales plus. So there should be, it says up to 100 in the mod information, but we're not online, so there should be up to 50, hopefully, different items in the sale, which I'll have a look when I get to the store. So, first things first, we had to get some fuel. I think we had a little bit left, but I don't think that was going to be enough for another go around our field. And it's one of those things, I will forget about it. Ooh, that's going to be a long day, I think. Let's have a look and see what's in the sales. Okay, well that clearly hasn't updated yet. Maybe next month. Rollers. Why does it take me so long to... Okay, well that's clearly not in there. As I thought, I had not turned the mods on when I started up the game, so my bad, they're on now. Let's have a look and see if that's changed anything. Sales probably, like I say, is going to update when I start a new day. There we go. Look at that. We now have a couple of extra rollers. Let's check the width on these. 3 meters, 3 meters, 6.4. I feel like this might be something worth going for if we sell our one. I'm just going to do it. Because as much as I like starting small and having all these... How do I get to my equipment to sell it? Vehicles. There it is. Sell that. As much as I like, you know, the starting point of these sorts of games is the most interesting for me. When you haven't got the money, you haven't got all the equipment, you're struggling a little bit. Everything takes a little bit more time. But you can also take the mick a little bit. I'm pretty sure that roller that we just sold was smaller than the width of the tractor, so the amount of laps we'd have to do back and forth over our field would be ridiculous and just not worth it. So I feel like this is a good investment. Are we going to make it before that car? Yes, we are. This curb doesn't take me out. This is a good investment. It'll mean that we can just get through our field a little bit quicker, get into the next day, feel like tomorrow we're probably going to have to do some weeding or hoeing, just based on how quickly the weeds grew in the last episode. So that's another piece of equipment. I don't want to spend too much more money because I think we're going to have to buy more equipment. So if it comes to it, we can do some contracts, but I think I'm going to wait until... Where's the field? There it is. I think I'm going to wait until we are ready to harvest our next crop before I start buying things that maybe aren't urgent or aren't vital to our current progress. Okay. Oh, it feels good to be back. It's been a couple of days since I've recorded because I've been doing some Planet Zoo stuff and also have a job, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's the first time I've been back in a couple of days and just feels nice to be back on the farm. So I'm assuming this has no... Takes me a minute just to get set up and make sure that everything is... There we go, and we're rolling. Okay. Well, we've managed to get started. This is going to be job 1 for the day, and then we're going to see what else is on the cards. So, let's get this done. And then we'll take a second to assess what we want to do next. You see that in the roller? The rear tracks, they don't roll all the time. I wonder if that's something that really happens, or there's a reason for that. Well, this is a mod, so it might just be a glitch, but maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. This roller, this wonderful roller, was just over 6 meters. I think it was 6.2 or 6.3. The one that we got rid of, that we made, well, say we, it's not your fault, it's my fault, isn't it? I prematurely bought last episode was only 3 meters, which means it would have taken twice as long to do that field. So I'm very happy to have bought. I reckon if I buy, I'm going to forget that I've put this in here. I'm going to buy another tractor that's bigger, and I'm not going to be able to get it out again. I'm going to need to upgrade my yard at some point. Account for all this equipment. Ooh. Oh no, it's trying to escape. I'll tell you what, you can sit there for a bit. You wanted to go in the ditch. It's your prerogative. I'm happy for you. So, we can now go into the next day. Let me just check the field to make sure there's nothing we're missing. This is growing. No weeds. pH good. Nitrogen good, except for that little bit. Yield, for some reason, is 80 to 85%. Which is... not sure why. No, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to end the day. Should we turn the tractor off? That could do with a clean already. Look at that. Granted, it's been a few months in-game, and it's been around the field a few times, so maybe it's not a surprise, but... The early risers. What? Oh, it's October. Now, I haven't been to Poland before. Oh, new on sale. Okay, that must be the new mod. Weeds. We've got the weeds. Everything else still looks fine, but we're going to have to deal with these weedies. Let's have a quick look what weeders we've got. Now we can use a weeder or we can use a hoe, I think. 6 meter width, that'd just be the same as what we've just done. 6.2. 6.2, but nearly twice the price. I don't see how that's worth it. Hose? Where are these hose at? Where does one keep one's hose? Whatever. I'm just gonna get a weeder. Oh, there's a hoe. I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay. Score 1 for stupidity. I'm just gonna buy this one because it's cheap and the only alternative is twice the price and only has a 0.2 benefit. Right, what's the button for light? There we go. Let's go pick up this weeder. Give the old wheat field a good seeing to, and then we should be able to finish off with a couple of contracts. Oh yeah, as I was going to say, before I lost my train of thought again. I haven't been to Poland, that I can remember. I certainly haven't been to Poland in October, but if it's anything like the UK, it's going to be dark for a while, for one. Going to be cold. I can't imagine there would be much in the way of farming for the next couple of months. I know, well, I have to weed today, obviously. Don't know if we'll need to fertilise again. I imagine we won't need to lime until we've pulled this out of the ground, this harvest. But, you know, I have no idea what I'm talking about, so who knows? Probably should. One of these days I'm going to remember to bring the pallet fork so that I can take that back. But it is not this day. Okay, let's get back. We've chucked the weeder on. Let's have these weedy little fellas. This is our field, right? Yeah, pretty sure it is. I didn't even realise I'm playing without the instructions. I turned them off for the to get a thumbnail. Completely forgot to turn them back on again. But see how long I can go without needing them. I feel like I was about to say something again and it's gone. I keep doing that. Oh yeah. I'm going to talk about what my objective is, or what my first objective is going to be. So, it might make sense to go for another field, of course. I don't think I should be going for another tractor just yet. This one should be able to do a fair old bit. Decent horsepower, yes. It takes an extra little space to stop, but, you know, nothing's perfect. What other options do we have? Could get a production. Yeah, that's definitely an option. We've got the wheat there, so what? Some sort of granary or mill to start making flour. That's definitely an option. We'll have to see what is available, what we can afford. I think those are the two options. We either get another field or we go for some sort of production. We might have to get another field first anyway, so that we've got space to put the production. Because that was the other thing I was thinking about, was some sort of greenhouse, just to keep a regular sum of money coming in that we can rely on a little bit, so that we don't have to, well, you know, we'll have to fill it up with water, but you can just turn it on to auto sell and have a steady trickle of cash coming through. You don't have to worry about going bankrupt. But again, we would need land to put down any sort of production or greenhouses or anything that, you know, we might be able to purchase. So I'll have a think about that while we finish this field. And I think, okay, there is one pass left to do on a very small stretch. Let me just see if that actually needs doing on the map. Well, we haven't done a great job with the weeding. What's happened here then? Okay. It needs to be hoed. Wish I'd checked that beforehand. Well, we must have done something. I don't know. Maybe... Okay, here's a thought. Maybe the hoe gets rid of weeds that are a bit smaller, a bit shorter. Maybe next month the weeds will be long enough for the weeder. So maybe that was a massive waste of time. That is entirely possible. But it is what it is. Let me check the land. Farmland. I don't know. I don't think we own this. I don't know if we can own this. Let's just have a look at the nearby land. This might be good for building a yard on. So it's this small field, which we could still use, and then this big open bit of grassland, which is right next to where we've got our farm at the moment. And that is nearly 60,000. This is also another good option. It's a lot more expensive, 100,000. But there's a lot of open space right next to where we are, where we could build. Well, given that the weeding seems to have been a bit of a failure, let's see what contracts we can do. And try and mitigate some of our wasted time. It doesn't look like there's much. With our equipment, mind you, as well. Doesn't look like there's much worthwhile. Cultivating? You know what? I'll do that. It's not as much money as I would like, obviously. You know, we did our cultivated contract in the last episode and made what, 6,000, something along those lines, 5,000, 6,000. So, but what it means is this should be a bit of a quicker job. And then once, where's this field? Once this is done, I think I'm just going to skip straight into next month and see if we can do anything about the weeds. Try and get this done this episode so that I don't feel like I've done nothing. I should probably put the map on. That might help. There we go. Look at that. That's much better. Let's see where we're going now. Yeah. If it comes, we'll try and get the weeds done this month. If we're able to do it next month with the weeder, if it's still says hoe, we need the hoe. There's not a lot I can do about that. I can't really afford to buy unless something comes up in the sale. That's the wrong one. No, we're not looking good for that one. Alright, well, we'll get this contract done, then we'll come back and move on to the next month, and then we'll see what the crack is with the weeds. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that done, because I don't want it to affect our yield if possible. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the months to come. So, bring you back in a moment. And we are done. Well, the contract is finished. Still a little bit left to do. But they don't want us to do that. They like that bit. They want to keep that little landing strip for themselves. So, let us get paid for our work. Thank you, sir. Pleasure doing business. See if there's anything other. There is another cultivation contract, and that is a long, narrow field, which is a type that I like. Ploughing is one of the worst things in this game, just because it takes so long to do. I don't think I will ever do a ploughing contract unless I've got the biggest plough in the game. Do I want to take that cultivating contract? You know what? I'm going to do it, and then because I'm going to make the most of this month. I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, I'll get on with that, and then we will move into next month and see if there's anything that can be done about the weeding. Let's go. Aha! So, we have weeded our field and completed 2 contracts, all before lunch. That's the kind of productivity I like to see. We've also earned, I think, somewhere in the region of 5 grand, which almost pays for the weeder, so if it turns out... Can we cross here? If it turns out that maybe not in the future, I'll remember that. If it turns out that the weeder was a bit of a mistake and we can't do anything with it next month, yeah, at least we haven't lost out too much money. We can always resell it and get, well, we can get a hoe, but we can see what's available, because I'm pretty sure the hoes are slightly out of our price range at the moment. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, which will be momentarily actually, because I want to end the day. Let's turn the tractor off. Lovely. Yes, I'm very happy with this tractor. Although for the price, you should be happy with this tractor, because excellent for what we paid for it. Okay, let's check out the weeds in, what are we in, October, November. Check out the weeds in November. Hopefully they'll be long enough that we'll be able to do something with them. Where is it? No, I'm still hoeing length. Well, that is unfortunate. I'm sure. I know when I was doing the weeding earlier that. Oh yeah, that's a hoe. That's why it's more expensive. I said that with a little bit too much vim. So maybe I can buy this. Yeah. I'll hang on to the weeder. I'm going to buy this. I know I was talking about not wasting money until we've got our next harvest in, but this is for the sake of the yield. This is for the greater good, as it were. We can keep the weeder for any contracts that we may get in the future. I mean, it's only a 6 metre width, so it's probably not going to be ideal to do a lot of contracts with, particularly on the bigger fields, but it's an option. We'll grab this hoe so that we can do our field now. Hopefully... Oh, am I going to need to configure the tyres to get narrow tyres on? Don't think our crop will have grown that much yet. My instinct says it will be fine at the moment. So we're just going to go with it, because I know crop destruction is on. Yeah, it's only been 2 months since we planted it, so... Actually... Yeah, it's only been 2 months since we planted it, so... It shouldn't have grown enough that we'd destroy it doing the hoeing. It didn't when we were doing the weeding. We definitely pulled weeds out. I don't know if I actually finished saying that sentence, but that was what I was getting at. When we were doing the weeding, I was looking at the, you know, the difference that you can actually see when you're doing it in the field. You can see the weeds, so we've definitely pulled something out. Maybe we just got the longer ones and then we need to hoe it as well. Probably would have been sensible to get the hoe in the first place and just do that from the start. You know, we live and we learn. So, we will put this hoe to use, get our field tidied up, and then I think that's going to be it for the day. I don't think there will be anything that we'll need to do on our field, possibly until the harvest now, once we've got rid of these weeds. I mean, there might be weeds again in the future at some point that we need to deal with, and at that point I'm going to have to figure out what to do. It might be a spray job, you know, putting the herbicide down to get rid of them instead of driving through with a weeder. We'll have to see what length we're at. Yeah, I think for the next couple of months we'll probably be able to fly through and just pick at a few contracts. Yeah, let's see what the wheels do to the wheat now. Nope, that's the wrong button. Well, that sounds like a spaceship. Interesting. Very nice. Let me just check. This doesn't need to be turned on at all. No. So we should be able to just drive into the field. Do one lap of the headland. And it's not affecting the crops. Perfect. That's what you'll have to see. Okay. So we'll get this field done. I'll have a quick look to make sure that everything has worked correctly. I just realised why people don't start so early on their videos. It's because it's dark and this video is going to be awful. Oh well, we'll just have to see when it comes out. Yeah, we'll finish this field, then make sure that everything has worked, and then I think we can end it there, and then maybe in the next episode we can have a look at the contracts and just skip through the next few months, try and get through it as quickly as possible up until the harvest, and just try and make a little bit of money off the contract. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan to me. So let's catch up in a minute. Okay. It's a cold November morning and we are done. But we now have the moment of truth. Oh, we missed one. I'm not going to go and search for that one, but it is slightly... am I going to go and deal with this? It's a large weed, actually. No, I'm going to do my best to ignore it. Everything looks fabulous. So, we may have done a little bit of unnecessary work in buying the weeder and the hoe and doing both of those here today. But you know what? We now have both pieces of machinery that we can use as we need. So, you know, silver linings and all that. I think... Oh no. Oh, I forgot about the braking distance. Well, we're just going to have to accept that we're in this ditch now. Oh, someone turned the lights on. Okay. Leave that there. Little drive-by drop-off. Fantastic. Beautiful. Well, as we bring in the day with the sunrise, I think that's where we're going to end the episode. Next time, I think we're going to be forging our way through the winter months, trying to do as many contracts as we can to earn some of our funds back. We're not sitting at too low. I mean, we can buy another piece of machinery if we're desperate, you know, 15 grand. Not the end of the world. Hopefully our field will persevere through the winter. We won't have to do too much on it. And we'll have a optimal harvest in July, I think. July is when we're harvesting. Yes. So, that's where we'll leave it. Thank you for watching. If you are enjoying the start to this series, I know it's been a bit of a mess so far, but, you know, we've got to start somewhere. Hopefully, this will lead to better videos in the future. If you want to see more in this series, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.